Insightful podcasts by informative hosts. Insights into Things, a podcast network. Welcome to Insights into Entertainment, a podcast series taking a deeper look into entertainment and media. Your hosts, Joseph and Michelle Whalen, a husband and wife team of pop culture fanatics, are exploring all things from music and movies to television and fandom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insights into Entertainment, episode 152, Gaming's Best and Bleakest of 2023. That's right, if I'm hosting, that means it's an episode about gaming. I am your host, Sam Whalen, and the guy that I just keep dragging into the river of gaming news, my co-host, Joseph Whalen. How's it going?
Hey, and if you're hosting as well, it means we're going to get into some negative stuff at the end of the show, too.
That's right.
That's our MO.
Yeah, we're going to start off positive, though. So today we're doing, like I said, another gaming episode. We're going to talk about the Game Awards. The nominations are out. The actual ceremonies are on December the 7th, so right around the corner. But yeah, we're going to cover some of the nominations, and then we're going to get into some bummer stuff. Because while it has been one of the best years for gaming, it has been one of the worst years for gaming industry layoffs. So we're going to get into some of the hardest hit companies from that, and who should be held accountable for these layoffs, and if there's a way to prevent them. But before we get into that, we have to plug all of our subscriptions, or we need you to subscribe. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast. Is Stitcher still around? Last time I did this,
I think they are gone now.
Yeah, well, if you're still on Stitcher, find a way to subscribe to us. We'd appreciate it. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Amazon, and Pandora. Everyone loves Pandora.
Yeah.
Shout out Pandora. I forgot about that. Of course, you can always contact us as well if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com. We are on X at insights_things. I got it.
Yeah, it was limited in what my options were. Okay.
They were maybe already taken. Facebook, you can search Insights Into Things. Instagram, Insights Into Things. Anywhere, just search it. It'll come up. And of course, all these links can be found on our website, www.insightsintothings.com. Let's get right into it.
All right.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Game Award nominations. And I know what you're thinking. Do you want to start with some smaller stuff? No, we're going to start with the big one because that's what everybody's here for. All right, we're going to start with.
Are we planning on talking about anything other than the big one?
Yeah, we got a couple other things in there. There's one other smaller category that I want to talk about just because there's controversy, and who doesn't love controversy? But yeah, we're going to talk about the Game of the Year nominations. We've got 6 nominations for you. So let's take a look at them. And we've got them up on your screen for your viewing pleasure. We've got first one up is we're going to go from right to left, I guess.
Yeah, it's in a different order than the script. Sorry.
We've got Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is, of course, published by Nintendo and EPD. What's that?
I don't know.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh, Nintendo EPD. I guess it's like a subdivision.
Entertainment something.
Sure. Yeah. So Tears of the Kingdom has been highly praised for its improvements over Breath of the Wild, offering an expanded world and features that encourage exploration.
Maybe it should be EGP.
For what?
Epic Games Publishing.
Well, Epic Games doesn't publish Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I'm looking at Alan Wake. I'm sorry.
We'll get to that in a second.
Jumping ahead.
I wonder. Now I got to know what Nintendo EPD stands for. Someone send us an email. Chat, if you're listening, tell us what Nintendo EPD stands for. Anyway, it's a blend of traditional Zelda elements with innovative mechanics, makes it stand out in the series. Everybody loves Zelda, right? I mean, it's always going to get nominated. Breath of the Wild received similar praise, but we were talking off air before the show. You said you're not really in on Nintendo anymore like you used to be.
I'm not. I haven't been a Nintendo person for probably 15 years now. Nintendo to me was just always a little too kid-like, and that's exactly what they go for. So it's not a knock against them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean there are games like Zelda and Mario that I think while they are they look kind of kiddie. I do think they can appeal to everybody. And I wasn't a big Breath of the Wild fan. I don't even think I finished it, and I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom yet either. But I'm enjoying it much more than I enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I just think it's pretty incredible. I mean, it's one of those games where they just drop you into the world and they give you a set of tools and they just say go.
Yeah, I mean, they do a fantastic job in their games. It's just it doesn't appeal to me. There's an audience that it appeals to, and for that, they love it.
Yeah, and again, Nintendo getting a lot of love. 2 nominations from Nintendo this year. But yeah, I mean, what is there to say? It's Zelda. If you like Breath of the Wild, you're gonna like Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of people, it is their front runner for winning this. A lot of people think it's gonna go to Tears of the Kingdom. I don't personally. There's one.
Neither do I.
Yeah, you'll see where our biases lie coming up shortly. But yeah, that's Tears of the Kingdom. Moving on to nomination number 2, we've got Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is published by Insomniac Games. Insomniac, probably my second favorite PlayStation acquired studio behind Sony Santa Monica, who of course did God of War, the new God of War games. Insomniac,
Yes.
just incredible. Banger after banger games. Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man 1, others that I'm not remembering. There was I think they did Sunset Overdrive, which was before they got bought by PlayStation. Sunset Overdrive, great game. You should all check it out. But yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 2 stands out for its dual character gameplay, innovative combat and traversal mechanics, and an expansive narrative that enriches the Spider-Man universe. I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through this. I've been trying to take my time with it because I do love these games, and I don't want to, gorge myself on it. I like to take my time when it comes to these things. But I didn't finish it for the show, so what are you going to do? But you haven't started at all, right? But you played the first one.
I haven't started it yet. What are your thoughts on it so far? How similar is it to the first? What's the storyline look like? Obviously, the graphics and everything are fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it looks even better somehow, because now we're fully with the power of the PS5. Oh, we didn't show it, but it was the power of the PS5. It looks incredible. It is more Spider-Man, though. I mean, a lot like what we said with Tears of the Kingdom. It's more of the same. But for me, that's a good thing. I love Spider-Man, the initial one, the first one for PS4. I loved Miles Morales. Did you play that spin-off?
I did. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, it's more of that. But they find ways to innovate on it and make it more fun. There's new traversal mechanics. You've got the web wings. There's a lot more. You feel faster. There's like these big.
Having the PS5 helps with that.
Yeah, the one thing, and I don't know if I told you about this. As I was playing it, but the fast travel is like incredible. So the fast travel, you zoom out to the world map, you click a point, and it's instant. Like it just zooms into the map, and you're just there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. Like it's remarkable to see in action. And yeah, they've added more because the map is larger as well. So they've added a couple more boroughs in New York, like Queens and stuff, and more suburban areas. I forget the name of it because I'm not from New York, but more suburban areas. But
so what can you tell us about the story without giving away any spoilers?
Yeah. I mean, if you've seen any of the trailers, we're dealing with the symbiote. We're dealing with Venom. And honestly, you can probably guess where the story's going to go because it's the same usually every time when Spider-Man deals with, if you've seen the Sam Raimi movies, it's a similar story. And honestly, so far, nothing has really surprised me with the story. I've pretty much been able to guess every beat. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because these, you still love these characters. You've got Peter Parker and Miles Morales now, which is really, really neat. Being able to switch between those two at will. And the really cool thing is like in story missions when you're switching between them on the fly. It's scripted in missions, but it's still really incredible to see it happen. It reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 5 doing the same thing, switching in game. But yeah, I mean it's the story. There really isn't anything to spoil, honestly. Not yet, anyway. I mean, I'm sure some stuff will happen because I haven't finished it yet. But if you've seen a Spider-Man symbiote suit story, it's pretty similar.
So is this your pick?
No, my pick is your pick.
Okay.
Which we'll get to shortly. But that is Spider-Man 2. Now, this next one, I have probably the least amount of information on, personal experience as well. It's Alan Wake 2, published by Remedy Entertainment and Epic Games as well. Funny thing about this, there's no digital or physical versions. It's all digital. So, fun fact.
I think it's just a sign of the times.
Yeah, well, especially with it being published by Epic, they want everyone to go through their storefront. But yeah, Alan Wake 2 is noted for its shift towards a more intense survival horror, which you can see in the footage we're showing. It's very scary. Combined with its intriguing narrative and innovative gameplay mechanics. So yeah, again, off air we were talking about this, and I mentioned how they work in real footage, and I'm curious if we'll see it in these trailers. But the use of the blending of real footage and gameplay is really, really neat. And I would play it, but I'm a coward and I don't want to get scared. So, but you don't have to play the first Alan Wake to know what's going on. It helps. And this game is also part of like the Remedy universe. Remedy also published a game called Control, which I think was up for Game of the Year 2-3 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
But it's like a connected universe now. So they're bringing the stuff from Control in, they're bringing the stuff from the first Alan Wake in, and they're bringing in some stuff from Max Payne, kind of.
Wow, really?
Well, yeah, because like they say that that's not part of the Remedy verse because they didn't like necessarily own it at the time. Like I think they published 1 and 2, but then 3 was through Rockstar, I think. But there's a character in Alan Wake 2 who is, for these you can follow this logic here, he's voiced by the voice actor for Max Payne. I forget the guy's name, but the mocap is Sam Lake, the head of Remedy. He's like the figurehead. Sam Lake did the mocap for Max Payne 1 and 2. So when you think of what Max Payne looks like, he looks like Sam Lake, but he's voiced by a different guy. In Alan Wake 2, it's Sam Lake, but it's not his voice. It's really weird. But that sums up Alan Wake 2. It's a weird game. It looks very artsy. I probably will play it one day. From what I've heard, it's incredible. It's really doing a lot for the genre, you know, not the genre, the medium,
right,
pushing things forward and doing all kinds of stuff that hasn't really ever been seen before, and that's exactly what Remedy's best at. Do you have any interest in Alan Wake 2?
Not really. Haven't played anything in the series yet. I'm not into the scare type things. I don't like the dark type games. Yeah. I like the types of games that I can sit down, get immersed in, play through a story when I have the time. And I get obsessed with games like that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'll play is, you know, if I just have 15-20 minutes and I just want some mindless distraction, it's, you know, fire up the Xbox, play a shooter, play a sports game, something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing with Alan Wake 2 and with Control as well. You do get immersed. You kind of have to get immersed because there's so much going on. And that's another reason I haven't played it yet, because like if it's going to be scary and I have to pay attention, it's like I just can't do it because like scary. I'll be honest, folks. When I play a scary game, volume's all the way down, lights are on. I'm usually watching something else. Like I'm not like listening, right? Because it's the audio that gets me. I can probably do with the visuals, but I'm gonna have to pay attention to Alan Wake, and I'm gonna be terrified the whole time. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's nominated for other stuff. It probably is. I don't think it's gonna win. I think it's probably towards the bottom tier for what people are guessing is gonna win.
Right.
But now we move on to our totally biased pick. Next up is Baldur's Gate 3, published by Larian Studios. The game has received critical acclaim for its gameplay narrative and production quality. It's already won multiple awards, recently cleaned up at the Golden Joystick Awards. Its deep integration of D&D mechanics, it's Dungeons and Dragons for you normies out there, combined with a rich narrative and flexible gameplay, which is probably my favorite part about it, makes it a standout in the role-playing game genre. It's revolutionary, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I've never played, well, that's not true. I have played something like it, and it was the last game published by Larian Studios, Divinity 2 Original Sin, which I was trying to get everybody to play, but, you know, it was a little, it wasn't as accessible as Baldur's Gate 3. And, you know, this game has taken everybody by storm. Everybody's talking about it. You have like 500 hours in it.
Yeah, I have an unhealthy amount of time into this game for some reason. It really is a remarkable game. It to me, it's a genre defining game.
Yep.
And like, you know, you look at the images of it, and the playthrough is great. The graphics are wonderful. You know, if you're okay with turn-based combat, it's a great thing. But it captures the mechanics of a tabletop D&D game, which is very difficult to do. And the variance of the game. I've done 2 full playthroughs now and I have 5 short starts through Act 3. And I've yet to have the same thing happen twice in any story section.
Wow.
It's amazing that the game itself is that adaptive, and your choices matter. A lot of game systems tell you your choices matter, right? Well, normally it matters as to what your next cutscene is.
Mhm.
This is something, and Larian's known for this, where your choices don't matter, but your choices have consequences.
Yep.
And you may make a choice in Act 1 that 30 hours later in Act 3 comes back and has a completely different effect on how the game goes, how people treat you, how the story goes. To sit down and to even come up with a mind map of how these different storylines go blows my mind.
I don't know how they did it.
Like, people are afraid of AI taking over the world. Whatever this game engine uses to come up with its story is more dangerous, I think, and more intelligent than any AI out there.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There's really not much else to say. It's incredible. And in that description we read off, I think the flexible gameplay is really my favorite aspect of it. It feels like D&D. You know, I love Dungeons and Dragons, and this is as close as you can get. And in some ways, I think it's better than actually playing D&D because I think it onboards everything so much simpler, right? At least on console, you know, your actions and everything you can do. When I'm playing D&D in real life, and I've got, even using the app or pen and paper, you kind of forget a lot of stuff you can do because there's so much information. But I think what Baldur's Gate 3 does so well is streamline that and make it so you really are considering everything you can do, even if it's just like shoving somebody off a cliff, which is like, you know, you can end a boss fight by doing that if you pass the check. And it's like D&D in that regard, where a DM could spend 3 hours planning a boss encounter, and you walk up and you pass the first persuasion check and the fight's over. You don't even have to fight the guy.
I know that feeling.
But like, I don't know how to describe it. I think it's a game that everyone can play. Like, it is a little bit complicated, and it's definitely, you can tell it was meant for PC first.
Sure.
But I think they did a great job making it for console too. Like, I think it still works.
Well, and that's the one thing that's worth mentioning on PC is it was built for PC. And in fact, you have a completely different interface on PC. But if you fire up a game controller on the PC, it changes that game interface so it looks just like the console. So it's completely, that's another thing, that the fact that they went through and made 2 completely separate areas for how you were going to interact with the game, just that level of forethought was extraordinary.